Hey, yeah, 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 it was wild. I didn't want nobody to see my crazy ass looking room. OG need a haircut, looking like Richard Pryor. So nay. Peace, peace, peace. Hit that like button. If you come in and out, hit that like button for a real person. I ain't AI, I'm a real person. Hit that like button. You know what I mean? On the strength. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I was talking my other thing, I don't know. My room was looking crazy and then my back screen went off. I was like, damn. But so I had to tune out and come back in. But yeah, you know, yeah, I'm in the man cave right now. Um I'm living the single, I'm single. So yeah, I ain't a slob, but yeah, it get crazy in here sometimes. But what I was talking about? Yeah, being functioning outside of a sleep state, to be aware, to be awakened. You know what I mean? Yeah, wake up. Yeah, I like this background. This background, it's got a lot of light to it too. Um, Sexy darky, peace. Yeah, yeah, but being awakened is a heck of a good state to be in. You know what I mean? Uh, and but it gets lonely. It's a lonely thing, and a lot of us connect with others who are like minded through TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and things of that nature. So it's a big benefit because let's say somebody 25, 30 years ago who was still aware of the same, well, was aware of reality the way know reality to be. Uh, these people, man, they might never come across another person that's on the same frequency or on the same vibration, that they was on. So it's real good that we can come on here and talk about the issue of what we want to talk about, and be able to get feedback and so forth and all that, and be able to just talk to people and be able to talk about stuff without people saying that you're crazy. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? Because uh, if you speak, at one time, it's still like that though, because it's still a big time. It's a big time fight because if you say something against, let's say mainstream religion, if you say something against what people think the government is and all of that different stuff, or if you or just the old normal ways of living life and what's good and all that. If you say something against that, you already know if people gonna say something wrong with you or you crazy, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is. You know, you can use the parable. Even people that done been ultra religious in their life, coming from a state of like, let's say, not believing. You know what I'm saying? And then coming to belief, and all the people that disbelieving, they say, "Oh, they tripping now, holier than thou, and all this different stuff." It's the same thing with getting on this conscious, being conscious, just to use the word. It's another code word, but you know what I mean. You get conscious, you know what I mean. It's the same thing when you start knowing, because the knowing is a similar word like the believing. You know what I mean. When you come into the know, and guess what? Knowing is better than believing. You know what I'm saying? Because yeah, believe that. Hey, damn, believe that. Knowing is better than believing because there's plenty of stuff that we believed over the years that ain't even true. Ain't that something you could easily believe in something that ain't true? Like, okay, white Jesus. It ain't no such thing as a white man anyway. You know what I mean? No such thing as these walls in my room is white. I ain't never seen a person the color of this wall. Same way I ain't never seen no person the color of this part of my jacket, no black. I ain't never seen nobody. No, I ain't never seen a black person. So a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff that we believed is not true. But you can't, to know something is stronger. It's much stronger. But we don't believe. We don't believe in ourselves. We know ourselves. We know what we can do and what we can't do. We believe. We don't believe in our mothers and our fathers. We know them. We know our brothers and our sisters that we was raised in the house with, slept in the same beds with. We don't believe in them. We know them. You know what I'm saying? So we got to start knowing. We got to start knowing the things. Floyd Powell, Johnny Oda, Mike Slim, peace, peace, peace. Hit that like button for me, y'all. Yeah, but we got to start knowing the truth, the way we know our mothers and fathers, and the way we know our children. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Like, you gotta get away from just believing and stuff, because man, I believe in the belief, just the belief thing. Nothing. Stop believing and stuff, man. Because man, you believe. You know what I mean? You got some people that what I mean that believe in fried ice cream. You know what I mean? All kinds of like this, and that's like a little joke saying or whatever. But because they tell you, that used to be a joke, man. Somebody telling a lie, and they be like, "Man, you believe in that, man? You believe in fried ice cream?" Right? Okay, yeah. It's like outer space. It's like fried ice cream for real, for real. You know what I mean? Little people know, no such thing. It's outer space. Outer space is down in the ocean. That's the great unknown. You go jump in that water and go head out there, and that's the unknown. Go down in the deep. That's outer space for real, for real. Yeah, but all these different things. You got to get into. You got to read some books. You got to sit for some lectures. You got to get away from the mainstream. What's that guy? That guy he gets on my nerves too. What's that science? That NASA guy. He's supposed to be this the black guy. He's a so-called black guy. I don't want to call him black, but what is that guy's name? I cannot remember this dude's name. But you all know who I'm talking about. And he always the one that coming in trying to say some old smart stuff, and they be like as if he's giving you this big, super smart breakdown of why this and why that. And you be like, man, and this dude's still talking about outer space. Now, once you get conscious and you get smart on a certain level, and you see somebody and they still talking about space and stuff like that, that's for me. Like, if you still talking about outer space, you ain't always woke. You still sleep. Like if you thinking that they getting in a spaceship and they flying up in the air through the atmosphere into outer space, or if you still sleep and you think that the moon is and the sun is hundreds of thousands of miles away from the earth and all that, then you still sleep. Because you can go on TikTok right here on TikTok and you can find videos of airplanes and all that different stuff flying past the sun and showing you that the sun is below the sky, below like the sun is right there where the clouds is at. All this different kind of stuff. It sounds crazy. That's what I'm saying. It sounds crazy, but guess what? And they'll say like, well, the people in the past used to believe the Earth was flat. Yeah, because they knew better. The people now that's programmed to be stuck on a spinning ball. This is really new. The same people that you think the people that believe that so-called built the pyramids and all the different stuff believed in the spinning ball. You still sleep. You still sleep. You know what I mean? And it's all mental. Wow. I like this background. I think I'm gonna use this because guess what? When you start getting ideas in your mind and you start and that truth start that truth start exploding in your brain with good thoughts, thoughts of the true reality that we are the creators of our realities, and we create reality with our thoughts, with our own mind. And this is where the aspect of uh, God existing in everyone and all of this different thing that's a heck of a thing to know. You know what I mean? And to not know that is a heck of a it's a heck of a handicap. Yeah, it's a handicap. You know what I mean? If you don't know yourself, that's why you got to know thyself. If you don't know yourself, then you won't have that connection, the proper connection with the Most High Creator. That's in you. You'll believe in a spinning ball. You'll believe that you're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour. You know what I mean, on the earth, and you'll believe it. You won't know it. You'll just believe it. But though you'll look up in the sky at the nighttime and you'll see everything is in the same spot it was every other time, right? But you'll believe something else. You'll believe what NASA tell you on TV. And I ain't the only one saying this stuff. This is old news. This is just old. This is old news. But you can definitely believe in things. You can definitely believe in things that's not true. Easy. Because we've been programmed to believe in that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We've been programmed to believe in that stuff. You know what I mean? Why you think every mainstream, every religion killed off all of their aspects of mysticism, like all the mystics. The religion of Islam killed off and assassinated all their mystic scholars, right? Then they turn around and the people that's considered mystics in this day and time, they're not even the real mystics, but they label them as the deviants, right? So then everybody's focusing on the deviants and the Sufis and all that. So they be thinking like, oh, that's mysticism, that's Sufism and all that. Same thing. The Christians are the same thing with all the people, the Coptic, the so-called the Coptic Moors, the people, the Coptic Christians and all that different stuff. These were the people that understood, well, overstood the true reality of things. This is why you didn't have so these people that followed this particular school of thought having wars and all this disputes with these people over here because it was all the same thing. It was all the same thing. You know how they tell you, oh, the Moors came into, and I ain't pushing the Moors thing, but I am pushing the Moors thing because I'm a Moor. But the Moorish thing is a worldwide thing. Everybody is that, or everybody has a portion or a part of that. You know what I'm saying? The only ones that don't understand that is people who don't understand reality. You know how you got a world order going on now? There always was a world order, like meaning a setup or way of uh running everything was under one thing. And we still abundant. We still abundant. It's just it's still in a state of we still in a state of I don't know, I can't think of, it's in a chaotic state. Everything is not in alignment with everything else. This is why you still got people starving, people dying, people useless, you know what I mean, and baseless wars and different stuff like all this different crap. You know what I mean? Imagine that, like, there was a time when the people could, you look at these perfect structures, like the architecture, you look at the all kinds of the arts, the sciences was on a real high level. It was a very high science, high culture, high everything. You know what I mean? In back in ancient times. And we think ancient times far back. Ancient times is 300-400 years ago, for real, for real. That's another story. But how do you think that these people were able to achieve this high culture, except for the fact that they, being as though they wasn't always uh preoccupied, having to be preoccupied with conflicts, they had time to uh, establish high science. They had time to put time into high science and creating exquisite art, architecture, all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? They had time for that. If you imagine how much time we would have to create things, meaning like to invent or to modify or to improvise on things, that's already made. If we wasn't so stuck on not just conflict, if we wasn't so stuck on the need for like entertainment, like entertainment type stuff, uh, lust, satisfying lustful desires, like always having like lustful energy, all of the different stuff was not necessarily a part of the people in the past. Because the past, like even when you get into like what time is, time being, let's say time, there's no such thing as time, actually, right? Okay, this is what they say, right? I get it, right? But what I'm saying is no such thing as time. This is like a, let's say, let's call it a, it's just a thought, right? And everything they say that there's no past and there is no future, so we're only dealing with the now, there's only the now. Okay. So that means when I'm talking about now, saying things that were happening in the past and high culture, that stuff is still going on right now as we speak. And you get it? So the stuff that's happening is is happening right now. It's happening right now. Just like, okay, the future, like, okay, the future don't exist. There is no future. It's only now, right? It's only now. You know why? Because no matter how hard you try, you will never reach the future. You know why? Because let's say, okay, well, we'll never reach tomorrow because tomorrow will constantly always be getting away from me. Right? Like, okay, what's today? It's supposed to be Monday, right? Okay, Monday, and we say tomorrow is Tuesday. Okay, but we'll call it a day. We'll call it Tuesday. It'll be another cycle a day. But tomorrow, when we get to tomorrow, it won't be tomorrow. It'll be today. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of different like ins and outs when you get into higher knowledge and how the people from the past understood and knew things to truly be. You know what I mean? Everybody was on a whole different uh level of vibration. People was vibrating high. People just knew. People like see no. People knew. You know what I mean? Even like the perception of life and death. You know what I mean? Inbreeding the fear of death. Well, death of the physical body. The fear of it being put inside the people caused the people to become evil in their way of avoiding death, meaning like or their fear, because you're putting fear inside these people. So the people they fear a lot of them. They fear being cold. They fear being hungry. They fear not having a place to live. They fear being captured, tortured, hurt, killed, whatever. Right? When you fear these things, let's say you may do some bad things or some or some negative things to keep yourself from being in that from getting caught up into that or to get caught. So this is this weird though, like let's say the elevated light as a feather, the heart lights feather beings back in the day, they didn't have this type of fear. That's why you're reading the book. All they always try they mix the truth with the falsehood and all the different stuff. People need to study. People need to, but like I said, earlier in that other live before my thing went bad, the thing is, I know, I don't believe it. I know it. I know that we have to bring the people, we have to do things to bring the people together on the good and the right things. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. Everybody that got an elevated mind is gonna come together. I don't care what you look like. I don't care what your skin tone is and all that, because there's plenty of people. There's plenty of people out here. on all sides that's in an elevated mind state and they vibrating high. And the only time when they start vibrating low when they come around somebody on some ignorance, foolishness stuff. Like you got some elevated people on both sides, dark skinned people and pale skinned people. It's just the truth. Whether you like it or not, it's just what it is. But some people, in order to get elevated, they may have to go through a jungle of BS that may be saturated with race issues, like myself. So I'm not talking down on nobody because I came through that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I was able to keep elevating and then elevating to the point where so once I escaped out of that particular way of thinking, I was like, damn, wow, like that's crazy. You know, it's just crazy that I was thinking like, oh, I thought that was the end all be all of everything. That may just be the gate, one of the gates that you get into being ascended. You may have to come through like a racial gate or a violent gate or a lustful gate. I don't know. I said lustful. I don't know, but I'm just saying, or just you got multiple gates. The different ways and a religious gate. Because mine wasn't really necessarily religious, even though I have religion with me, definitely. Yeah, you know what I mean. And it ain't no big thing. You know what I'm saying? If like a lot of times, people that's still in a small state of mind, they always going, especially when you talk about that mainstream religious mindset, you in a small state of mind. You are, well, you are. You know what I mean? So hey, when you talk to these people with kindness. Talk to them with kindness. Don't get you know what I mean? Because one that's elevated, uh, Uh, no, I'm gonna decline it. I ain't gonna, cause I don't know you. I don't want to let nobody in on my live that I don't know, cause I don't want people. I'm new to this, so I don't want to just be talking about getting off the subject of really what I'm trying to talk about. But yeah, I appreciate it though. You know what I mean? I ain't getting not one like, ain't not one like on my live, but that's okay. But it ain't about the likes anyway. But I don't know what was I talking about. Hey, you took me off, man. You took me off my train of thought, but it don't matter. But yeah, talking kindly to people, that may be in a lower state. You can't bring nobody up by, you know, certain kind of things. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's just not gonna happen. Even if when you fall in, when you feed into if you feed into what they into and you stoop to their level, then they got more of a chance of defeating you because if it's all about energy, which it is. You know what I mean? You have spiritual energies the same way you have these physical energies, but these physical energies ain't what you think they are. They ain't even as strong as you think they are. The more that the energies that's really got a real problem, and you got to be careful of the spiritual energy coming through these devices. What I mean by being careful, you can be attacked, and you can, and all of that. The same way, just like you can, just the same way you can be benefited through these devices and things of that nature. So you know what I mean? You gotta be constantly, you gotta be on, you gotta stay sharp. But when you get into the love thing, you know what I mean? Uh, let's say, let's say, you get into be becoming a more of a loving individual to yourself first. You gotta do it for yourself first. You gotta love yourself and you gotta respect yourself. You know what I mean? When you get on that note, you know what I'm saying? Peace, peace, peace. It'll start trickling out to you. You know what's going on around you, to your reality around you, the people around you, and stuff like that. So you know, love thing, because the love, it sounds cliche, but it ain't no cliche. It's the truth. Love is the most powerful and the highest vibration. This is why love conquers hate, because hate is a vibration. Having hatred is a vibration, but there's, the vibration of love is stronger than the vibration of hate. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, uh, we got to start having love for one another. We got to start showing love to ourselves and to other people, and having respect for ourselves and other people. And then, guess what? Then that respect will start going out into your energy field and your surrounding area. You respect animals and other living things more. You know what I mean? The more you love yourself, the more you cherish your life, the more you'll know that the life that cat running across the street as you driving down the street, you'll respect that life of that cat because you know that cat cherishes its life just as much as you cherish your life. The same squirrel, even a rat. Because you ever notice if you get close to that rat, man, them animals run for their life. You know why? Because they cherish their life. They do. And guess what? If you get high-minded enough, there's people tell you that animals are spiritual beings. But guess what? We don't really learn that. We don't learn that animals are spiritual beings. We learn another thing that the animal is our pet. But then that animal will love us. The animal will love you more unconditionally than your so-called human friends and family members. Freaking dog be the best friend dog be the best friend that you could ever have. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another aspect of how your mind goes up when you raise your vibration and you start getting into higher stuff, higher knowledge. Not, I ain't getting into stuff that's more important than sitting around watching movies all day, every day, or listening to negative music or sexing all day long and all that kind of stuff. All that stuff is, I mean, it's cool. It's a pastime for a time. You know what I mean? Especially for young people. You know what I mean? That's cool. You know what I mean? Like I ain't like old like that. You know what I mean? I still have natural desires and all that, but I'm old enough to have a level of control over myself that I mean, let's say I might probably did, but no, but I didn't have when I was like younger. So I'm just saying I know the difference. You know what I mean? But the reason why I'm here now is because the things that I did hear and listen to and just, when I was younger, I might not have been totally taking heed to it right then and there, but just like that's why you got to talk to your kids, regardless if they want to hear it or not. Tell them, you know why? Because the stuff that my dad used to be telling me way back in the day, he used to be talking and talking and talking and talking. I used to be like, yo. And then now, like my kids, I'm the same way with my kids. I'll be like, man, it ain't my job. I'll talk to them. You understand what I'm saying? Yo, Chi, peace, peace, peace. My man. So, it's like really it's our job to talk to our children and to give them the advice that they give them the advice that they need to yeah, for sure. Uh give them the advice because a lot of the advice that my father specifically gave me and other older people gave me when I was a young kid or a younger guy, you know what I'm saying? I didn't I remember what they said, but I didn't mean that didn't act according to it right then at that time. But to not to like I'm saying right, down the line I would think about it and I'd be like, yo, and I would be acting according to. I remember one time I got a job, and the job was getting on my nerves. This is like one of my first jobs when I was young, right? This is in the '90s, right? And I was telling my dad about how the job wasn't. I didn't like the job, whatever. You know what I mean? And I was like, man, I'm ready to quit this job. And he was like, man, you don't quit no job until you get another job, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, okay, okay, okay." So I scoot off whatever, but I didn't quit like right there on the spot. But I quit. I ended up quitting the job, and I regretted it because it affected my reality at that time. You know what I mean? But down the line, I really, I grew up, became older, and I understood that that was like some real solid advice. You know what I mean? That was some real solid advice that my dad gave me that I really didn't have a full understanding of it until down the line, among multiple other things. Even my dad, was an ultra religious person with me as a child because I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. Under that discipline. So my dad was a real, disciplined person. He was 82nd Airborne, Vietnam veteran, war veteran. So you know what I mean. He was a certain kind of way. You know what I mean. I came up under that, but we was Jehovah Witnesses. So after my parents split up and all of that, my dad went well, we thought he went left because then my dad started talking a lot about like he got into astrology, like talking about astrology and all this stuff. And I used to be like, yo, man, you bugging this, that, and the third, you bugging. Not because of the Jehovah's Witness thing, because I wasn't really on that, because I went, I took my own I went to Islam, but I was already pre-primed to become a Muslim because of coming from the Jehovah Witness religion. But what I'm saying is, my dad was always talking about astrology, and my dad was a smart dude. My dad was actually a mechanical engineer. He was an engineer, so he was book smart for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, so make a long story short, he he used to always talk about astrology, and I used to be like, "Yo, man, you bugging." Even though I know it was like a little stuff with astrology that was true, that was true about people and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's just funny how things work. To watch my dad, rest in peace, go through his journey and things, and then for me to kind of experience some of the same things. You know what I'm saying? Like now, I have a strong interest in astrology, astronomy, because all of that stuff has something to do with everything. If you read in the Bible, the Quran, and all these different disciplines and philosophies and stuff like that, you it has something to do with the zodiac. You know what I'm saying? So so many different things. I'm on this live, so I'm not, but trust me, that 12 signs, that number, and all the different stuff has something. It's very very important, and it means a lot to a lot of different things that's in everyday life. But the average so-called person don't have no knowledge of. That's why it's good to learn about astrology, to learn about astronomy, to learn about moon cycles and different things of that nature, because these are the things that the people from the past were upon. They knew, and just like I said, well, not like I said, but I'm gonna say, or like I do say sometimes, you know, everything that's like been put down, it's like a good and a bad of it. So like when you start talking about moon cycles and all this different stuff, yeah, you got people doing, because it's stuff that people don't believe in, but they should know that it's real. Like, what I mean? Like some people people doing magic and different stuff like that. Yeah, that's real. You could disbelieve in it all you want. That don't mean it's not real. That's just like the internet in the Wi-Fi. You got, a lot of us, man, we got Wi-Fi. It's in the air, right? Yeah, let somebody, you go back 30, 40 years and well, a lot of stuff, man. If you go back 100 years, you know, you got this would be considered witchcraft to be for somebody to be looking on his phone and all this different stuff. It's a lot of stuff, man. I'm just saying, learn the moon, getting into moon cycles and all that stuff is very, very relevant for all of the sciences and all that stupid stuff. You know what I mean? It's very important that we have a knowledge of these things. I mean, you don't have to, you should master it. You should master it for yourself. Self mastery, like, you know what I mean. That meaning like, you know when's a good time for you to do something. When's a good time for you to say something. Yeah, you should. Don't leave it up to somebody else to know about it and tell you that the months, like, guess what? The moon, the moon cycle is how you know what month it is. You understand what I'm saying? You ain't, if you know the cycle of the moon, then you ain't got to You ain't gotta look at your phone. You ain't gotta look at the calendar. You know what it is. But I'm just saying, the Bible, the Quran tells you that we determine direction, the so-called time and date, all that stuff come from knowing moon cycle. So what I'm saying, that's astronomy, astrology, all that stuff. That's something to get into. That's something I had to know about. I ain't saying you gotta lead your whole life off of it, but hey, that's up to you. Each individual, you know what I mean, got to be picky and choosy about what they want to get into. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? The same way they come to you be like talk about numbers. Yeah, numbers is another strong science. Numbers don't lie neither. But and all that stuff, it kind of, not kind of, it go together. But guess what? If you don't know that, you want to sleep. You in a sleep state. You still in a sleep state because all of that stuff. A lot of stuff is even this, the stuff you buy in the store. The businesses, man, that be wide awoke. That don't mean that they on some super good stuff, but it just mean that they woke to. They know that the numbers mean something in relation to how they do business and what they doing business and what they charging people. So they establish the numbers a certain way. See what I'm saying? It's just like so many different things that average people don't have a knowledge of, and they don't, and they, what's the word? Yeah, it takes time. It just takes time it just takes time to wake up to all these different things. I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? But this what I'm talking about. What I think about. I'm talking about what it's basically how I'm living my life now. Like with the stuff that occupies my mind. I don't spend my time on a bunch of fools. I really spend my time on trying to learn. I always did though, kind of like. It's just that when I was in the different, I mean, I'm 51 years. Well, I'll be 51 in January. You know what I mean? It's like I've lived multiple chapters. So like I would even be telling a lie if I could just tell you I'm a certain way. But I am a certain way. Like 'cause no matter what, whether I was being religious or whether I was being just regular or I was being ignorant. You know what I mean? I always wanted to be proficient. When I mean by ignorant, just being I was even in the good, the bad, and the ugly things. I was always trying to be on a dynamic note. I wasn't. I never wanted to just one of the guys sitting around or whatever. Like I was always, wanted to know what I was doing, and I wanted to be around individuals that also knew what they was doing with the things that they was whatever we was doing. You know what I'm saying? So I advise myself and anybody who want to listen to master themselves in these ways, or master themselves these uh with these ways. The brother I was kind of hyped too. The brother Chief Cutter, y'all should follow him, especially for uh the melanated family. The melanated family. This brother Chief Cutter. And actually the organization is called the United Melanated Family, the United Melanated Family, and I'm a part of it, a small part, but I'm just saying, you know, this brother got a lot of effort, a lot of time, a lot of scholarship, you know, put into uplifting the mindsets of the people, meaning American people, American melanated people. And he's another one. And it's funny. I watch mention him from Jump Street, but when I get on here, I'm not used to really speaking, so like uh I get nervous. I'm loosening up a little bit, but I get nervous. But anyone who, well, I only see two people, but I know it's other. I have other people watching me. That ain't that they. You know how you could watch somebody without knowing, letting them know that you're watching them. But this brother UMF Chief Cutter, he's definitely strong. He's somebody to listen to. You know what I mean? And you could tell that he has he one of us. You know what I mean? Whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he definitely You could tell. You could just tell like where he come from. Like you could just tell by how he speak and all that stuff. Like you know what I mean? The brother and he speak and he got it's a lot behind it. A lot of learning. I see I'm not articulate. I'm just saying the brother know what he talking about. The brother got some scholarship behind what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? And I would say even more like more than me. Yeah, because that's somebody who I listen to, right? You know, and I listen to him, especially like, you know, for certain aspects, like even stuff that I already knew. But then it's being backed up by somebody like him. Like, and I was like, I already, so I know. Like, I got a stack of books. I got lots of my stuff too. You right? But I'm just saying, these are the people that you're gonna come into contact with if you really want to go that way with raising your consciousness, knowledge yourself, knowing yourself. You know what I mean? It's all the same. You know, we all got different. We all got different background, but we all got the same background. You know what I mean? I got the churchy Jehovah Witness going into Islamic background, so I understand all of that. You know what I mean? So it ain't no like it's nobody. You come with with this, the Bible, whatever. You come with that, I'm gonna understand it. I'm gonna be able to read into it and be able to see where you're coming from. You know what I mean? So, uh, best thing for melanated people, but for people in general, because I'm saying for everybody, get informed, become informed, uh, wake up out of the sleep state, and do it every day. Every day, ain't no days off. Really, it's not no days off. It's really not. You can't be, on so-called being on the conscious stuff, and you care about like the people and all that. No, you got to be about that every day. So I advise myself with that, and I advise anybody else to do that. And I appreciate anybody who's listening, and I'll dial in. I'll dial in again in the future, which we'll never see the future, right? But I'll dial in the future, y'all. I appreciate it. Peace.